K-9 Regeneration, the first episode of Series 1, is written by Shane Armstrong and S.P. Cross, and it's starring John Leeson, Keegan Joyce, Philippa Colford, Daniel Webber, and Robert Maloney. So Bob Baker, the co-creator of K-9, wanted to do a spin-off series with K-9, which I think that's a great idea. So it got announced in 1997 Doctor Who magazine that him and Paul Tams were doing a 4-part pilot series called The Adventures of K-9. Also mentioned that the pilot would be filmed that year on a 7-figure budget, and the BBC wanted to buy the rights. However, the series stayed in development hell for many years. So in 2006, Bob Baker and Paul Tams teamed up with Jetix Europe and London-based distributor Park Entertainment to create a 26-part series calling K-9 Adventures, setting in space, which happened the same year where Doctor Who School Reunion was released, where K-9 and Sarah Jane Smith returned. So in 2007 the title got changed into K-9. So originally the characters would include Slocum, a 30-something space gypsy, and Jin, an overactive computer module in the shape of an attractive young woman, but that got dropped before the production started in Australia. So the show is made for Disney XD and Network 10 by Stewart and Wall Entertainment, and they're all 25 minutes each like classic Doctor Who episodes, apart from season 22, and Sarah Jane Adventures. So they got Australian writers Shane Cross and Shane Armstrong to create the series and writing the episodes in association with Bob Baker and Paul Tams, head of animation and programme acquisitions for BBC Children's. Michael Carrington has told Broadcast that the BBC has turned the opportunity down of the K-9 series, and unfortunately none of the BBC owned characters like the Doctor will be in it because of the rights. So in London 2050, which is where the show is set in, 2 men gave Professor Griffin the briefcase, and inside there's a technology from a falling angel, a downed alien craft. I love the graphics and the atmosphere of the show. I thought they're pretty cool. It's so futuristic. So Starkey tries to hack into something and he meets Georgie, who wants to work with him, but Starkey refuses because Stark Reality works alone, which is uncalled for. So Starkey and Georgie gets chased by a robot police called CCPCs. So they ran and hide inside a building and ended up in Griffin Manor. So they met Professor Griffin, who's working on space-time manipulator so he can get his family back. So Starkey accidentally knocks the cable off and the machine goes wild, and a turtle-like race appears called Jigsaw. So while they try to get away, K-9 appears, which is a good entrance. He saves Starkey, Georgie and Griffin, and they wanted to help K-9 in return, but he self-destructed and destroyed himself and the Jigsaw race, which is a sad scene. So while Starkey picks up what's left of him, a 15-year-old delivery called Darius arrived wondering what was going on and introduced himself as soon as he sees Georgie. While Darius called someone, K-9 regenerated and he's upgraded. I love the design. I still prefer the original, but I think this design is great as well. And it can scan people like Iron Man, where Iron Man wears the iron suit and a lot of screens appearing scanning things and people, if you know what I mean. Which is really cool. And K-9 decides to fly around the city. I think it's great that John Leeson did the voice of K-9 again for the show. Keegan Joyce plays Starkey, who's an orphan rebel who's wanted. Philippa Colford, who plays Georgie Turner, is a 15-year-old rebellious, and her mum works the mysterious department. Daniel Webber, who plays Darius Pike, is Professor Griffin's assistant. And we have Robert Maloney, who plays Professor Alistair Griffin, who's working on space-time manipulator to get his family back. And I think the casts are great. I find them likeable. This is like Scooby-Doo in Whoniverse, which I really do like the concept. Apparently Darius called CCPCs to take Starkey away to detention facility. Jigsaw and the turtle-like warriors can mark their enemies, but apparently they didn't mark K-9 as an enemy. Georgie decides to communicate with Starkey in the virtual reality wearing those VR goggles. Apparently any aliens, doesn't matter if they're good or bad, or if they crash landed or got lost. They get locked up, which is horrible. So while Professor Griffin is working on K-9's brain, Starkey manages to escape the detention facility and arrive back at Griffin Manor. So K-9 mistakenly thought Starkey is a Jigsaw and he was about to shoot him. So Professor Griffin tries to stop him. So then Starkey said, "Good dog, heel boy," which he said to K-9 earlier before the self-destruct incident. So K-9 recognised his master, so Georgie's mum, June Turner, played by Robin Moore, turns up. So everyone but Professor hides. June wanted to capture K-9 and Starkey, so after she leaves, Starkey mentions that no one stuck up for him, and Darius mentioned that there are other chances. Oh god. So Georgie walks in and K-9 gave Starkey a whistle to call for him whenever he needs him, which is nice. And I think this is where the team is building up. Is there any connections of Doctor Who? Well, sadly references isn't allowed because of the BBC rights, but Bob Baker and Paul Tams have confirmed that it's the same K-9 Mark I, where he first appeared in Doctor Who, The Invisible Enemy, and last appeared in The Invasion of Time, where the Fourth Doctor left him with Leela on Gallifrey. Plus, after the regeneration, the memories were damaged, so the new K-9 doesn't remember his past. So he doesn't remember the Doctor, Leela, Andred, Professor Marinus, etc. So yeah, I loved the show when I was a kid. I was about 12 when I first heard of it. I think it was my mum who showed me it on Sky back in 2010 or 11. I can't remember. I didn't like the redesign of K-9 at first, but then it grew on me. I loved the show, I had a great time watching it, and I think this is a great start. As of time recording, the episodes are available on YouTube. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you watch it when you were a kid or not? Drop your thoughts on the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.